If you want to learn with step-by-step instructions on how to make this beautiful meatloaf with red skin potatoes done in the Instant Pot, please keep watching.
Mashed potatoes and gravy.
All right, take a bite. Tell me what you think.
Good.
Take a bite, like a whole bite in your mouth. It's okay, put it back in your plate. There we go. Yeah, that looks like a good bite. Go ahead, take that bite. It's already on your fork, baby.
Oh. Good.
Yeah? What about the mashed potatoes?
Good.
It's good?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay, so let's get started. I have my ingredients. I'm going to put some onion, carrots, and some celery into the meatloaf. I have my ground beef, and then I have a half a pound of Italian sausage. What we like to do is go to Sam's Club, because we have the membership there, and get a whole bunch of meat, and then I kind of portion it out with like very few leftovers, because after years and years and years we have realized that we just do not eat leftovers. I mean, like, Victor will get a second plate, or maybe if it's like chili or spaghetti or something, or soup, we'll have like, you know, 2 more bowls left or something like that. But for the most part, we forget about it because I cook every day, and I just am not a leftover person. You can kill me if you want to. There are very few things that I eat that are leftovers. So we get like this 10-pound block of ground beef, and I portion them out into 1-pound bags. And then with the Italian sausage, I get 2 pounds of Italian sausage. Half a pound goes in with the meat for the meatloaf, and a half a pound goes in with ground beef for meatballs. And I use the meatballs for like meatball soup, spaghetti and meatballs, meatball subs, a whole bunch of other things. And then the other Italian sausage I'll use for baked ziti or any kind of Italian pasta dish or whatever I want to use it for. My son is trying to get into the camera, and I told him he'll have a cameo. Say hi.
Hi.
Say hi. All right.
Hi.
Okay, go downstairs and play, buddy. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut up all my vegetables, put them in this little plate right here, saute them up just a little bit, and then I'm going to start mixing everything in with the meat. So do not judge me about cutting, because I am not a top chef. I just cook every day, and I love to cook, and I am not a professional by any means whatsoever. I'm just a mom who has a 2-month-old who's sleeping right now, so this is like prime time for me to cook, and a 4-year-old who sometimes will do his own thing, and then sometimes will want to be with and around me all the time. I do like some of my veggies to be chunky and some of them to be fine. If you have kids who do not eat vegetables, at this part, it's really good to hide the veggies into the meat. So definitely, you could put mushrooms in here, but we used all the mushrooms last night when we made pizza, so I don't have any more mushrooms. But if you do have kids, definitely chop them up super fine, and then if you cook them a little bit and then put them in the meatloaf, like sometimes they won't even notice. You can just tell them it's like colored seasoning or something. I am lucky, my son loves vegetables, so I am on the lucky side, so I don't really have to cut them up very fine. But at the same time, I don't want all my veggies to be like super chunky, because I want it to be a nice, like, rich and smooth meatloaf. And I'm using the 1.5 pounds, the pound of the ground beef and a half a pound of the Italian sausage, 1 for flavor, and 2, if there is any leftover, I do like that little like spice, and I'll put it on like a ciabatta roll or something and have like a meatloaf sandwich for leftovers. If you make a lot. Yes, baby.
I just took the carrot.
You took a carrot? Here, I have some more carrots. Do you want them?
Mm-hmm.
Here, take these. I'm done with the carrots. Thank you, baby. All right. And I'm doing this all in real time. I mean, obviously I pulled everything out so I can have it ready so I'm not like running back and forth to the refrigerator to get what I need. But I'm doing this in real time so you can kind of see how long it's going to take me to do this. 9 times out of 10 I'll have like some music playing and I'll be drinking a beer. I mean, I am drinking a beer right now. It's just off camera, but that's besides the point. I will have like music on and stuff to kind of get me in the groove, but since I am recording a video, I don't want to have any like copyright issues right now. So I had this like tiny little leftover onion in the refrigerator. This might be enough, so I'm just gonna cut it and then cut it kind of like you would with like cilantro and stuff. If you do not have a good knife, I definitely recommend getting yourself a good knife. Don't go out and spend like $300 on a knife. You just need like a basic knife. I use 2 knives out of our knife collection. Victor is the one that uses multiple knives. I use this knife that I got from IKEA years ago. Victor sharpened it for me like twice, I think. And then when I say years ago, like when I was living in Charlotte with my friend. If there's a raptor in your house, call for help. Okay, I will let them know. And this one is just fine. And then I have another one. It's a smaller knife to cut like little vegetables and stuff. I don't get really fancy with my knives. I manage just fine. I'm gonna go ahead and turn my eye on. It's like medium heat. Like I said, I just wanna toss them up a little bit. Watch your fingers. I am not one of those people who can like duck their fingers in and no, that's not me. That's not me at all. I will lose fingers, so I do not do that. I take my time when it comes to cutting vegetables because I value my fingers. I need my fingers. So I'm just gonna put it all in a little plate just so my cutting board doesn't get crowded. And then I don't keep running to the trash can. I just collect everything and then I toss it in the trash can. I mean, my mom used to like have a little bag hanging. You can do that too. You can just, you know, however you want to collect your trash. All right, so I have this on. I'm just gonna I'm gonna use some avocado oil. I like the avocado oil because it has like a high heating point. I don't know if you can see that. There we go. You can use whatever oil you want. I just put like a half, probably like a half a teaspoon, honestly. And then like I said, we go to Sam's Club, I'm sorry. And they have this like huge bag of garlic and we go through like half of it and then it starts to like spoil. So what I do is I take half of the bag, I blend it all up with some olive oil and then I put it in these little containers. And it actually has like preserved the life of it so much. We really didn't have to throw much of the garlic away this time, so that was good. I'm gonna take a little bit of garlic, AKA a lot of garlic because we like garlic. Throw that in the pot, or the saute pan is what you wanna call it. And then our vegetables here. This is the same mix that you would use if you're making like a soup or something. It's literally like the trifecta blend for soups.
People, if there's a T-Rex in your house, call for help.
If there's a T-Rex in your house, call for help.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Not only will you learn how to cook meatloaf, but you will learn how to stay safe if dinosaurs come and attack you. Courtesy, Zoomy.
Nobody will find us. She has noses. She knows where people
Saute this up. I am not a big measure person. I am a definite, baby, they can't hear me with you stomping, okay?
Well, I am not stopping.
Yeah, they can't hear you. See, real time. What am I at right now, 9 minutes?
I'm not stopping, Mommy.
Okay, I am not a measuring type of person. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I have my ground beef, and I am going to take some Worcestershire, and I'm just gonna swish it around, maybe like a tablespoon. Okay. I'm gonna take some cayenne pepper. I'm gonna do like 3 flakes. If you have kids and they don't like spicy stuff, or you don't like spicy stuff, then you can skip this step, but I really like spice. So, and my son is fine. I actually cut down on the spice because sometimes it's hit or miss with him. Some Lawrys seasoning, just a couple of sprinkles there. I'm only doing a couple of sprinkles of everything because we're putting a lot of spices in here. I have some caramelized onion seasoning that I got from Sam's Club in the seasoning aisle. This is awesome. I put it in soups. Couple shakes here.
Mommy, there's a real peanuts in my house. Hi. Mommy, there's a real peanuts in
All right, and we got some garlic powder. I put a little bit in the cap. Suffice, and then I just kind of sprinkle that, maybe a half a teaspoon. I got some Italian seasoning, also from Sam's Club. I'm gonna go a little bit heavier on that. And then I have some tomato sauce. You can use ketchup, you can use tomato paste, you can use barbecue sauce, you can use whatever you want. I'm gonna use some tomato sauce. And I'm not going to use all of it, just a little drizzle here. I'll show you. And my baby is crying. I have my little monitor here. I just fed him. He threw a fit, all for like 1 ounce, and then passed out. And I think now he's hungry again. He realized that he did not drink what he's supposed to. I have a heavy whipping cream. I'm using heavy whipping cream because I do not have any whole milk. We have non-fat milk right now. Whole milk works out a lot better. You just need a little bit. I'm gonna use heavy whipping cream because it's just fine. I'm just gonna put a little bit in there just to keep it moist because we're putting eggs and breadcrumbs in here. So I got my eggs. You can crack them right in just like I'm doing right now. Or you can crack them on the side and then you could whip them up and then put them in there. I'm just lazy and don't want to do another dish, make it dirty, more things for me to wash. And then I have breadcrumbs, panko. The reason why I use some Italian seasoning and I use some extra Italian seasoning is because my panko is plain. But if you have breadcrumbs that are like Italian seasoning breadcrumbs, those are great.
Mommy.
I'm gonna do 2 handfuls. Hold on, baby, I'm almost done, okay? All right, maybe 3. Do it like that. Okay. So,
I think fucking
sauce this up a little bit.
Mommy, you need to carry something.
Now you can put peppers in your meatloaf. You could not put anything in your meatloaf if you just want meat. Use some garlic for some flavor. You can completely like mince the onions. You don't even have to put real onions in there. You can do onion powder if you want. I do both, so.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna set that to the side. I'm gonna turn this off. My oven is already on 375, and that's already been ready.
Carry something.
Yes, baby.
I said fucking T-Rex because he bite me.
Oh no. And you could use your hand, but I'm gonna use a fork. But before I get into this, we're at 13.5 minutes. I'm gonna go and check on my little baby because he's getting fussy. And then I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna show you the rest of it. Okay, I am back. I just checked on my little baby. What I'm gonna do now with the veggies, which is great because it let the veggies cool for a second so we're not throwing hot veggies into our meat and egg and milk mixture. I'm going to take a little bit of salt, even though we did put some Lawrys seasoning in there. I just like seasoning, so if you're not a seasoning person, you don't have to do this step. If you're not a seasoning person and you don't have Lawrys, just put some salt and pepper in there. But seasoning is so much better. Just season it all up. It's all good. And then I got some pepper. So I'm just gonna sprinkle a little bit. I tend, because I love seasoning so much, tend to go a little heavier on the seasoning. And sometimes Victor calls me out. So when in doubt, I kind of like tone it down a little bit. And then, you know, if you want to put a little bit more salt and pepper on your own plate, then you can do that. I always do that, but some people don't like it as much as I do. All right, I'm gonna throw this in here. Garlic, onions, celery, and carrots for the veggie portion of your meal, because I'm not making any veggies with this. I am making red skin potatoes. And I'm gonna put that in my Instant Pot, and I'm gonna show you how to do that. That is going to be cooking while the meatloaf is in the oven, so everything will be ready at the same time. It's gonna be bomb. Okay, so there's multiple ways you can do it. You can just go right on in, mix it up with your bare hands if you want to, but I have a baby, so I'm going to use gloves. Or they say you can use a fork and kind of like fluff it with a fork so you don't overwork it, because you don't want to overwork the meatloaf, because if you do, then it gets really tough when you cook it. Okay, so I'm just gonna take my gloves. You can get these, well, now during the pandemic, you can pretty much get these anywhere. Restaurant Depot, Sam's Club, Costco. I've even seen them at the grocery store in like CVS or Walgreens, Rite Aid, whatever's near you, in the like medicine section. So it doesn't matter what kind of gloves they are. Just get you some gloves if you don't like touching raw meat. Normally I'm all up in there, but with a baby and everything, and just how today is in general, I just use gloves when I'm dealing with like raw meat and stuff. So I'm basically just gonna like turn it in and like squish it with my hands gently, because you know you got that egg in there. It smells so good. Oh my gosh, and that garlic. Ugh. Like I said, I have my oven for 375. Some people do 350, some people do 400. I'm doing 375. Like that right in between. Yes, baby.
Is my brother gonna watch me?
Yeah, he's gonna play with you downstairs. He's playing his piano. Is that okay? Okay. All right. So it's pretty mixed for me without putting like too much elbow into it. Nice and chunky. Some people don't like chunky meatloaf, which is fine. If you don't like chunky meatloaf, don't put celery and carrots in it. Like mince up some mushrooms, some peppers, and some onions. Make them like really fine if you want to. That's up to you. If you want vegetables on the side, don't put any vegetables at all. It's totally up to you. All right, I'm gonna go get my pan to put the meatloaf in. I don't have like a designated meatloaf pan. I just use what I got. This already has like some grease and seasoning in it from last night. We got some fries and heated them up, so it's already like coated pretty nicely. It's non-stick, but sometimes they be lying and it's not non-stick, and then stuff sticks to your non-stick pan and it makes me really mad. So what I'm gonna do is just throw this in here. And we're going to shape it into a loaf, just like so. Right. I do not like, some people, I don't know, some people like that like super firm dry meatloaf, and then they cover it in a ton of like ketchup or gravy or whatever. We are gonna make a gravy, just a little bit, but I'm not about that life. I want my food to be like juicy and flavorful. So that's a pretty nice log, right? I think so. Nice loaf size, especially if I want to put it on like a brioche bun or a bolillo. We have bolillos, so I'm gonna say bolillo. We have them in the freezer from Sam's Club. And then you just slice them and put them right in there with whatever you want, and then boom, you're ready to go. All right, so I'm gonna put this in the oven And I'm gonna set a timer for 35 minutes and check the temperature because I do not want to overcook it. That is the last thing you want to do about meatloaf, is overcook it. Then you have basically have like dry hamburger meat. So I'm gonna check it at like 35 minutes. Some people put it in 400 for 60 minutes, but I feel like that's way too long. So I'm gonna check it at like 35 minutes with my thermometer. If you don't have a thermometer, you could like stab the center of it with a knife, and if you see some blood coming out, then you need to cook it a little bit longer. Or you can just do like a little taste slice and kind of, not taste it, but you know, slice it a little bit and see. But I'm gonna check it with my temperature thermometer at 35 minutes. It will probably need to go in at 45 minutes, but like I said, I don't like that 10-minute window, could probably overcook it, and that is not what I want to do. Some people will put some ketchup on it so it has a nice little glaze. Halfway through, I am gonna throw a little bit of barbecue ketchup mix. I don't like pure ketchup, so I'm just gonna drizzle that on there a little bit. I'm not gonna baste it, just drizzle it. And then I'm gonna let it like crisp up a little bit. Okay, we're at 8 minutes, 8 and 13 minutes. The meatloaf is in the oven. That's pretty good timing. That's like 21 minutes so far, and we still have to do the potatoes. So I am going to get all of that set up for you on the other side with my camera so you can see that portion of it. And then we're gonna make gravy and dinner will be ready in like 45 minutes. Anyways, I have my red skin potatoes and I'm gonna throw them in my Instant Pot. I love this Instant Pot. I got it, I think it was at the end of March when I realized I wasn't going back to work and I was gonna be at home every single day because daycare was canceled, everything was canceled. I mean, we all lived it. Everything literally was canceled and you were not allowed to leave your house. So I got an Instant Pot on Amazon. I think it was like $69.99. I got the 6-quart, and I originally got it so I can make rice perfectly every single time because that is one thing that I just cannot do. I cannot cook rice from the very beginning. It's either too soggy or it's undercooked. I put too much water in it. I don't know what it is, but I just cannot cook rice on the stovetop. So I gave up and I bought a $70 machine to cook rice for me for 4 minutes. And then I realized like, oh, I could actually put more stuff in here and cook more meals. And I'm not talking like those everyday Instant Pot things that you see through YouTube or Pinterest or whatever. Like, I throw everything in here sometimes. I'm like, oh, you know what? I've mastered how to cook. Like, for example, I make this Ghanaian stew. I'll do it at some point. If you do want to see me make this Ghanaian stew, it is awesome. My friend, my high school friend, her aunt made this, and then she made it, and then she taught me how to make it. Thank you so much. You know who you are. I love you. And then I've made it in several different styles over the years. I mean, I've been making this for years. Victor loves it. My son loves it. But I made it in the Instant Pot for the first time, and I was worried because this dish sometimes, like depending on how big of a batch you're making, sometimes it could take like 4 to 5 hours. But I made it in the Instant Pot in 1 hour, like that, and it was so good. So if you want to know how to make that, you can call it Ghanaian stew, you can call it chicken tomato stew with rice, you can call it whatever you want, but Ghanaian stew is where it's at, and I will show you how to make it in the Instant Pot if you want to. But what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to throw these, I wash these potatoes, and honestly I think I'm just going to throw them in here with a little bit of water and put it on for 14 minutes. I do want to make sure that you do put enough water in there so it doesn't burn, but maybe like half a cup. We'll see what happens. I don't like leftovers. Like I said, I try to just make meals where it's just enough for the serving. So I have like 1 jumbo red skin potato, and then I have 6 like medium sized, and that should be enough. If I have a little bit left over, that's fine. it's like one extra plate for tomorrow. So you just close the lid. And there's a little valve here. It says venting and then it says sealing. Make sure that you turn the valve to sealing. And I'll take a picture and try and insert it. I don't know how to edit anything, and this is supposed to be kind of like live cooking with me, but if I can, I will take a picture maybe at the end and kind of like show you what it looks like. Venting, sealing. You're gonna put everything on sealing when you put it in here, because if not, it's not gonna go up to pressure quickly enough, and it just won't cook the food properly, a whole bunch of things. The only buttons I have ever used on here is sauté and pressure cook. You could do all kinds of stuff like yogurt, and then they have like broth and soup button, meat stew, bean chili, poultry, slow cook. They have a delayed start button, so if you just want to throw anything that you want in this Instant Pot before you leave for errands, or you take a nap, or whatever we're doing nowadays, because we can't work, you know. I mean, some people can work, I'm not going to say that. You can put delay start. I've never used this button because I'm home cooking. So yeah, I use sauté if I'm gonna like saute up some veggies or some bacon or something to give like a soup or whatever that I'm gonna make in this Instant Pot some flavor, or if I'm gonna sear the meat before I Instant Pot it. Like I make tacos in here, carnitas, so good. We made tongue in here, so good. Barbecue chicken, all kinds of stuff. We did a whole chicken the other day. It took like 28 minutes to cook, but like between coming up to pressure cooking and pressure release, they say do a natural release. It was like a whole hour for a whole chicken. I think it was like a 6-pound chicken. So anyways, saute and pressure cook is all I use. So you're gonna hit the pressure cook button, and then you're going to add the time that you want. The Instant Pot comes with a little cheat sheet on how many minutes per item you should put on there. Like I said, rice is 4 minutes. Brown rice, white rice, doesn't matter what kind of rice it is, 4 minutes. Potatoes, I think, are 14 minutes. I'm gonna do 15 minutes just in case, because I can't remember if it's like 14 or 16. I think it's 14. You can do sweet potatoes in here. You can do whatever you want. So you hit pressure cook, you go to the time that you want, and then you just wait. And when it says on, that means it's ready to go. And it just needs to come up to pressure, and once it comes up to pressure, you hear a beep, and then it will do a countdown, and then when it's done, it will beep again, and you can either release it to venting so all the steam goes out, or you can just do a natural release is what they call it. And I guess it helps like cook food a little bit more. I'm not really sure about that. Sometimes I do a natural release because it's not like, oh, I need to put dinner on the table right now, hurry up and vent. Sometimes I'll just do a natural release because it's like I don't really need it right now. I make pinto beans in here, black beans in here. So I'll do a natural release for that because sometimes I can cook them in 45 minutes. Sometimes they need an hour. So if I do it for 45 minutes, I'll just do a natural release, and then that time between the natural release and me checking them, they're at the consistency that I want them at. So I'm gonna let that go. Stuff's in the oven. I put that in the oven at like 6:45. So I'm gonna check it at like 7:20. And I have my butter. When the potatoes come out, I'm just gonna place them in the pot that they were in when I wash them, because I'm reusing stuff. And then I'm going to melt some butter, and in the Instant Pot, I'm gonna do it all in the Instant Pot. I'm gonna melt some butter, some heavy cream, put the potatoes back in there and mash it a little bit, and then I'm going to mix in a little bit of white extra sharp cheddar cheese for a little bit of cheesiness. I might saute up some garlic, I don't know yet. But I did leave skin on, so that will add a little bit of texture to it. And then, you know, some heavy cream. I think I said that. You can use milk, but like I said, I have non-fat milk, so I don't know how good that's gonna be. So I'm gonna let that go. I'm gonna let the meatloaf cook, and then I will be back to show you guys how the potatoes turned out in the Instant Pot. Okay, so the potatoes from the Instant Pot are done. It actually, since I had a really big potato in there, I had to add 8 extra minutes to it. There was still some water in there, so I just put it on saute till the water evaporated. But you could take the potatoes out, dump the water, and then dump the potatoes back into the Instant Pot. I am going to use 4 tablespoons of butter to start. And maybe like a half a cup, well, there's probably like 3/4 of a cup, and now it's gone, so of heavy cream. Sprinkle some salt in there. And some pepper, a little bit more pepper than salt because the butter is salted. And then I'm gonna give this a little mash. And this is like all, I don't know if you can see this, it might be too bright. Maybe I can turn my light down. There we go. I'll mash. I turned my Instant Pot off. It's still hot, so it should be good. My little masher. I'm just gonna mash it up. While I was waiting for the potatoes, I checked the meatloaf. I pulled it out at 40 minutes, and I checked the temperature of it, and it was at 145. So I pulled it out and I let it rest, and it should go up to a little bit more of a temp, but 145 is good for me. All right, let's all mash real good. And then I grated some cheese, that white sharp cheddar. This is probably like a half a cup of cheese. And I'm just gonna fold that in. Oh yeah. You can add sour cream, you can add cream cheese, you can kind of do whatever you want with your potatoes, but I'm just gonna add some cheese, and I think with the butter and the heavy cream, I think that should be enough.